President Trump today fulfilled a controversial and major campaign promise by pulling the United States out of the landmark Paris Climate Agreement. The Climate Pact seeks to reduce the amount of worldwide pollution emissions, but the president says it imposes far too heavy a burden on America's economy and that it's unfair to America's workers.
As of today, the United States will cease all implementation of the non-binding Paris Accord and the draconian financial and economic burdens the agreement imposes on our country. Global activists that have long sought to gain wealth at our country's expense. They don't put America first. I do, and I always will. I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris. Our withdrawal from the agreement represents a reassertion of America's sovereignty.
President Trump did say that the U.S. would potentially re-enter the agreement if his administration can negotiate a better deal. So, Jesse,
yes,
this is a big deal today. This is like Kyoto and all sorts of things all rolled into one. Kaboom.
Kaboom is right. That's the left's reaction if you listen to the television today. I mean, we went from leading from behind to America first today. Let's remember this Paris deal was negotiated by none other than Barack Obama. Not the best deal maker if you look at Bergdahl, Obamacare, and the Iran deal, so anything he does is suspect. So I don't know if he either got hoodwinked or he wanted to knock America down to size, but it costs $3 trillion and you lose 6 million jobs. And to what? Hypothetically bring the temperature down a fraction of a degree in 100 years seems pretty stupid to me. And India and China, they can continue to push coal. They receive taxpayer money, and they can increase emissions. Meanwhile, we can't do any of that. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think spreading the wealth schemes don't work. If they did, Venezuela would be a paradise. Obviously, it's not capitalism works. Trump said something very specific. He loves the American worker. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think Democrats used to understand that. They don't anymore. He's not beholden to foreign capitals. He's beholden to the Constitution. If Obama wanted this done, he would have sent it to the Senate for ratification. You know, Democrats can't even control their emotions, let alone the temperature in 100 years. The same people that were saying Hillary was going to be elected in November are telling us what the weather's going to be like. I don't think so.
Interestingly, something happened today, Greg, along the way to this announcement, which was that federalism started working because a bunch of cities and states, mayors and governors, and then you had big corporations saying, well, we're going to take it upon ourselves to, ratchet down our emissions anyway. So if they're going to do that, maybe you don't need the federal government to push.
Exactly. They're going, hey, wait, if the government's not going to force us, we'll do it ourselves.
Wow.
There you go. That's called conservatism, everybody.
Exactly.
Free markets. Okay. This is an interesting decision, what he did, because he didn't actually have to do this. In fact, I think this might be the bravest thing he's done. He's already expended a lot of political capital. He's not very popular. He could have gotten strange new respect from the left by letting this go. He could have agreed with his daughter. It's a non-binding agreement, which means it really is useless. And also, it's a bad deal. It's as Jesse points out, it's so absurdly expensive for a negligible increase. Up to $200 trillion over a century will cut 1% of the carbon target, which is a 2 Celsius reduction in global temperature. So in order to reach their ideal, you would need to multiply 200 trillion by 100 trillion, or something like 200 by 100, which we don't even have. So its carbon cutting is a farce. The impact of this deal is negligible, but it will destroy economies. So what he did was actually brave in the sense that he didn't have to do it. He could have just not followed through. Now, you're watching everybody going crazy over this. All he said was, it's a bad deal. If it becomes a better deal, I'll go in. He's like the guy who walked into the showroom and said, he looked at the car, he says, that's too expensive. You know what? Give me a call, I'll come back. That's exactly what he did. Or another metaphor is, he went to a party, realized the party sucked, and said, I don't need to be here. Maybe there's a better party. So the idea that this is somehow an awful thing is hysterical. If you're going to lose your crap over this, you are lying. You're a liar. Well, this is not bad.
And to that point, Kimberly, some proponents said that just stay in, President Trump, because you don't have to abide by it. So is it better to sit at the table and fake it? Like, for example, Governor Schwarzenegger one time came to the White House and he told President Bush, sir, you don't have to actually believe in climate change. You just have to say that you do, and then everybody will like you.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, really? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I think that President Trump, like I said last night, was being very consistent with his campaign promise. He promised that he was going to do this. I don't think this is a deal that anybody should be crying about. Like we said, it's non-binding. And the United States is already a clean energy, oil and gas leader. So we can keep doing what we're doing. We can keep reducing our emissions. Why would we, in fact, put ourselves at an economic disadvantage, giving and subsidizing an economic windfall to other countries in sort of a climate redistribution of wealth scheme? It makes no sense to me. I think he did the brave and courageous thing. And in fact, I told him that this morning at 8 a.m. when he called, and I spoke to him about it, and this was something very much so on his mind. But he seemed
Wait a second. Who called you?
The president.
Why?
To ask about climate change?
Why did he call you? Called you?
Climate change, taxes.
I think they buried the lead here. The president's
Right.
calling you at
He
8 in the
just tried
morning.
to slip that in there. As if it's like, maybe it happens all the time. So it's like,
Right,
not a big
yeah,
deal.
the president called me at 8 in
It
the
said
morning.
unknown. I thought it was Fox News. But and he said he loves the 5 terrific show. Said to say hello to all of you. Yeah, he loves the Kofi.
Oh, my
exactly.
You should ask him what that meant.
But he said he was excited about this today. It was going to be a big speech. A lot of people would be excited about it. However, there would be people that would be upset and disappointed. He was going to do his best, to explain.
Like this one over
Yeah,
here.
like Juan. But then again.
Juan, did anybody call you?
Oh, it was so private. I wouldn't. At 8 o'clock, I'm snoozing, dude. I dreamt about it.
Told you he has a lot.
But you can have the floor, Juan, because I'm sure you have a lot to say.
I do, because
7
I'm such a
cards.
liar. I'm a liar, according to Gregory. But I tell you what, I don't have to participate in this partisan bickering, because the United States is the only country where there's this kind of political polarization over the idea of climate change. The rest of the world, oh no, we know something's going on. Why? 2016, the warmest year in history. 3rd year in a row that we set this record. According to NASA, according to the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. Gee, I don't think these people are too political. But guess what?
Is that is Trump disputing the science?
Oh, yeah, he is.
No.
Because
He's
if he
disputing
doesn't
the economics.
do anything... No,
He's disputing the
Let me just tell
economics,
you
not the
something.
science.
He's
There's a
guy,
difference.
No, there is no difference.
Yes,
if
there
you
is.
ignore a reality, if you put on blinders and say, don't pay attention to the fact that we have coastal waters rising, don't pay any attention to the polar ice caps, just ignore it. You know who couldn't ignore it? Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State.
Neither could North
Not
Korea.
there. Ivanka, oh my gosh, the darling
Jewish
child.
holiday.
Couldn't
The Jewish
show
holiday.
up.
There's
Yeah,
a
that's an
White-
excuse. And let me just tell you
One,
something
I don't
else.
think you should
I
demean
don't-
it as a
I'm
religious
just telling you it was an
explanation,
excuse.
and there was a White
And
House
let me
statement
let me just tell you
issued about
something
it.
else.
Oh my
You have Jeff Immelt of GE. So he's, oh, this is about
I'd like to
jobs?
respond to that.
Get out of here. GE, Shell, ExxonMobil.
Yeah, they're going to do
Can I tell you why, though, Juan?
No, wait. You had the floor, buddy.
Okay.
Elon Musk
Go
says,
ahead.
I'm not even doing business with Trump anymore, and he was on
But
Trump's
he'll still take Trump's
yeah.
money, right?
Yeah.
The subsidies.
So here's
It's
the
our
deal.
money.
So
It's our
here's the
money.
deal. You have a bunch of people who are Trump puppets sitting around here saying,
No,
oh, yeah,
you're the puppet.
we
I
got to
don't
go.
think so.
We are so worried. Get out of
Can
here.
I
just tell you one
this
why?
is ridiculous.
Done with his
That the
carbon
U.S.,
emissions.
that
It's
the
like-
United States would suddenly abdicate all leadership and let China and let the Europeans take the
Juan,
lead
you
in terms
offered
of
no
innovation.
I would love to
science. You offered
respond.
no
I
science.
gave you the
any of
sign.
that.
You told me don't listen to NASA and the National Oceanic
NASA
Administration.
has problems.
Oh,
Multinational-
NASA has
Hold on.
attack NASA. Go right ahead, Greg.
Multinational corporations
I will.
like ExxonMobil and Shell want these deals because they can sign these fat contracts with these third world countries
I see.
that get paid off of U.S. taxpayer subsidies. Number 2, of course China wants this deal. They get to do whatever they want and they get to knock
get out of
America
here.
down the sides.
You know
when
what?
have we followed what China wants?
You know what happened today? The French president spoke to
put
President
America
Trump.
first.
And you know what he said? He
What?
said, because Greg says this,
Of course you
Trump
know.
is
You
just
probably got
doing
the leaked
the
phone
deal
calls.
guy. According to Greg, Trump is just saying this party sucks. I can get a better party or I can get a cheaper price on the car. You know what the president of France said? Forget it, buddy. No renegotiation.
Okay, we don't listen to the French.
Oh,
they retreat,
I see.
we lead.
Attack
Juan.
the
Where
French.
were you during World War II?
I see. Oh,
Look
yeah,
at the
yeah.
history. Plus, how is it 6 million jobs lost and $3 trillion
Yeah.
spent? How do you think that's a good deal? Trump's not anti-science. He's anti-bad deal.
All right. Hey, can I...
3.1 manufacturing sector jobs as well.
People agree that the reason why it was non-binding was because it was understandable if you didn't want to be part of it, because it was putting so many burdens on so many countries. So why is it popular among the famous and the rich? It's because it's a gesture of benevolence that gives them the immunity for their behavior. So you can have your private jets, and you can have your limos, and you can have your 8,000 square foot that was just home that was just purchased in Chicago, I believe, or was it D.C.? I'm not sure, by President Obama. This deal was useless. But how did it get this far? Because it was designed to punish the West. Environmental activism is designed to seek reparations for the West's past. So it doesn't matter if the deal is flawed. It doesn't matter if economically it is impossible. It doesn't matter because we are sinners, and this is their way of punishing us. And finally, somebody said, you know what? Screw you, Paris. We're not taking it. Maybe we can fix it. We'll talk later, but right now it's not going to work. What is wrong with that? And by the way, Juan, he is not denying the science. He's looking at the economics. The economics is absolutely mind-boggling. It's absurd.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's absurd. What's so rude to me is he goes and he meets with the Pope. The Pope hands him an encyclical on environmental concerns and climate change. He says, oh, I'm going to listen, Mr. Pope. He goes, right. You talk about
that
jobs.
That was awesome.
You know what's awful?
You know what's
awful? Wait, let me finish this point.
Don't bring
let
the
me
Pope
tell you
into
what's
this.
awful.
So at least he listened to him.
Is the kind of ruse that Trump is perpetrating on the coal miners in this country, telling, oh, yeah, this is for you, coal miners. Get out of town. There's not one coal job that's going to come back because of this deal.
They're opening a new mine up next week, Juan. Did you look at the press
conference? No, that has nothing to do with this deal.
Well, there are going to be more mines opened up after this deal
would
gets
decapitate
pulled.
the coal industry, which would provide
the coal industry.
Okay, we got to run.
Yeah, you tell coal miners that he's got to work, Juan. I'd like to see him tell him to
we
his
have a whole
face.
other block to do on this.
But first, Wes, you know what really helps clean up the country? Natural gas, nuclear power. You know who's against it? Environmentalists.
Absolutely.
Right. And if a deal can get everybody but Syria and Nicaragua on it, is it really just symbolic anyway, to your point?